Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We ain't linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
It's going down. It's going down tonight on We Got Issues. Oh yeah. It is that time. It is 6 p.m. and where my girls at, it's going down on We Got Issues. You are listening to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF. Right out of Detroit, the oldest urban talk radio. It is based on, you can hear it all over the world. And I'm excited to be hanging out with my girlfriends. We have full attendance on today. Give them a big round of applause, Michael. We're excited. We got everybody here. Everybody is here on today, and that's exciting. And of course, it would not be special if you were not tuned in. So we're excited that you are listening on the radio. And so many of you have chosen to watch us on either the 9:10 a.m. Facebook page or the Force of Friendship Facebook page. And so we're excited every single day to see you, to hear, to watch your comments as we are talking about the variety of subjects. And when I tell you today, this topic is going to be one that you absolutely want to lean into. If you know anybody that have, daughters, teenage daughters, you absolutely want them to listen to the show today, because we're going to be talking about teenage pregnancy. Yep, we're going to hit that topic on today, and I'm excited to introduce our guest in just a few minutes. But before we bring her to the stage and you hear all about her, you guys, when I tell you some of everything is going on in the news today, everything. I mean, breaking news, this going on, that, and I'm like, whoo, it's overload. I mean, from inflation to the Federal Reserve increasing the interest rate to President Biden's his approval rate being at an all-time low. Oh my goodness. I mean, to Dave Chappelle being tackled
right
at his event. I mean, it's so much to talk about. Listen, I'm excited about this topic. So I'm going to throw it over to Caterina, because it happened in your neck of the woods. It happened in Los Angeles. Katrina, what do you know? Give us the 411.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, the first thing is, before I talk about that particularly, I just want to say y'all want to be a part of the tribe, because the before the show and the after the show, it's so good. We are headed to Hawaii, and we were like, where you get your bathing suit from? Where you get your bathing suit from? I'm getting 2 days. You can't get that. It's going to take too long. Send it to the hotel. These girlfriends, I just want to say, we influence each other. We really influence each other. And Gloria, you always have a good influence on me, except for this. Okay, when you came on the show talking about Jolly Ranchers and you could get a bag of just the flavor you like. Do you know I got a watermelon bag of Jolly Ranchers? Look at my tongue. It is red. Okay.
Are you gonna get those people I eat sugar? I do not eat sugar. Okay.
I hope Walter is not watching, but I'm like, 2. I can only have 2, and I had 3. Okay, Jolly doggone Ranchers. Literally. I've been under, I'm normally up on the news, especially the California news. I do not know what happened with Dave Chappelle. Anthony said, did you hear? I said, I'm going on the radio. Tell me what happened. So girlfriends, somebody break down. He got attacked. Somebody tackled him. What had happened was what? What happened? Sabrina, Gloria, Chris?
Well, all I know is the little bit that I saw. He was, doing his show, and a guy, 23 years old, they did capture him, and he had a weapon. He had a knife that looked like a gun, and they're questioning how did he even get into the event with anything that looked like a gun. So, but this was kind of funny. They said Chris Rock was there, and he said, "Oh my God, was that Will Smith?"
That was funny. He went there. No, wait. So after Dave Chappelle got tackled, first Jamie Foxx came out to make sure he was okay. Like, what's up? The boys came out, and then Chris Rock came out of the audience. Was that Will?
Okay, where was this? What event? What event was this?
People on, huh?
What event was this? Where did this? Was it his comedy show or what was the event?
Yeah, it was a big comedy show in LA. A big comedy show, big theater.
I mean, for Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, for all of them to be in one room, that was big. Okay.
Right. That's what they were saying. That was a really big deal to have Jamie Foxx and Chris there to watch him, do his thing. And then he got tackled like that. And then they said that the security people are on hypersensitive. So they went up and they really gave it to that guy who tackled him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They really beat him up, picked him up. They destroyed him for real.
Yes.
And it's going to be, and I'm going to pass it on, but somebody say something about Lady Crisette and Gloria's necklace game today, okay, for the radio audience, okay? They both have their necklace game strong, okay? I'm just going to say, Gloria, if you don't say something about her necklace, some kind of way, okay?
Now, you know it, because I'm going to take it from here, because look, this is the thing. When you've been on radio for a year, a little over a year, like we've been on radio, you got to get it together fast. So you take your workout shirt and you put on a fabulous necklace and you pray somebody says something about it, okay?
That
I'm telling you
is funny.
Okay.
That's funny. A workout show with a fabulous necklace. Okay. Do you, boo? Okay. Looking good. Hey, Caterina, read what Dorothy said. She may have given us a little bit more insight into Dave Chappelle.
Comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked by an armed man Tuesday night as he performed at Los Angeles Hollywood Bowl Arena with videos from audience members. Somebody said it was a Netflix event. Cell phones quickly flooding social media. You got to go to Twitter, at least until Elon takes over, and showing a man appear to run onto the stage and tackle the comic. The Los Angeles Police Department said the 23-year-old man pointed a weapon, later determined to be a replica handgun. That might be how it got in, and contained a knife blade at Chappelle. Seriously, crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
So, Sabrina, what's going on? Geneva on the Lake, Ohio. What's happening?
Oh my goodness. Just laughing at y'all's necklaces. Oh my goodness. It's all good. Kenny's out of town. And so for the last 2-3 days, he keeps the news on 24/7. And it's just been kind of nice because I have not had it on at all. And it's just amazing. I am a news junkie, but it's just been so peaceful without the news, right? And so honestly, I have no news. I don't know. All I know is I look out my window and it's peaceful. I am claiming peace upon my life and everybody closely associated to me, okay? So peace be still. That's all I know.
Okay. And she gonna peace out as soon as this show is over. We know that for sure. Okay. What's going on, Gloria?
Oh my God. It's all about the necklace. We're done with me. Let's go on to your guest, because for real, I cannot wait for this topic. I love us. How can we have another topic we have never touched before? That's why I'm so glad that people tune in, call in. You guys, you got to call in on this one, because everybody knows somebody who's been touched by teenage pregnancy, and everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's got a perspective. So I cannot wait to dive into this topic.
Yes. Well, you guys, we're going to bring our guest to the stage, but let me just give you some statistics. There is, believe it or not, some good news, but of course, the bad news always, in this instance, outweighs the good news. However, The U.S. teen birth rate, and that's births per 1,000 females aged 15 to 19, has been declining since 1991. So that's exciting. Teen birth rates continue to decline from 17.4 per 1,000 females in 2018 to 16.7 per 1,000 females in 2019. And so that's another record low for the U.S. teens and a decrease of 4% from 2018. So that is really, really exciting. And so we're going to talk about the decrease. But of course, we know that there are a lot of things that happen when you have young girls or teenagers that become parents. And so before I go into some of those statistics, I want to welcome our guest. First Lady Dretona Maddox is with us. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to welcome her to the show. She is an amazing woman. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to introduce her with her accolades, her bio in just a minute. But we were just hanging out together last week in Cancun, Mexico. She is a first lady, and she decided that she wanted to come to the relief retreat. She came to the relief retreat, and I'm going to tell you, it is so, as girlfriends, one of the things that I love is meeting people, learning their story, hearing about their background, and you just never know, who you're sitting next to. And that's why it's always important to ask a lot of questions and engage. And so we were just hanging out at dinner one night and just kind of, talking about ourselves. And I mean, she started talking about herself, and the whole table got quiet, and everybody started leaning in. I mean, you could have heard a mouse walk on cotton. That's how quiet it was. Everybody was listening. And I mean, I'm sitting there and I was so engaged in her story and her background and all that she is doing. I'm thinking to myself, oh, she definitely going to be on We Got Issues. She's going to be on We Got Issues. And then, after the show, after we left, Caterina came to me and she's like, girl, are you going to invite her to be on the show? Are you going to invite her to be on the show? I said, calm down, Caterina. I'm going to invite her to be on the show, because I know Caterina was thinking, if you don't invite her, I'm definitely going to invite her. And so she's so gracious. Of course, she's in Los Angeles, Riverdale area. So I'm so glad that in the middle of the day she could join us. So let me tell you a little bit about this amazing woman. Growing up in South Central Los Angeles, California, and having some instabilities in her home life, Dretona Maddox was already marked as a statistic. Being a teen mom gave her another mark. Being a homeless pregnant teen gave her another mark. But despite her circumstances, Dretona Maddox, she has so many letters behind her name. I just need to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. She is amazing. She is a DSW, and she'll tell us what all of this means: a BSN, an RN, a PHN, an LCSW. And she is amazing. Pursuant to her commitment to the medical and mental health professions, she has used her educational personal background to educate and inspire others. In 2006, she founded Purposely Chosen, which is a nonprofit organization committed to helping displaced teen moms keep their babies through non-stigmatization and advocacy and parenting education. And I'm going to stop there because I'm going to bring her in to talk a little bit about herself. And just so you know, in 2 minutes, we're going to have to go to the break. So we'll come back and we will hear more about your story. So Dretona, welcome to We Got Issues. Give her a big hand, Mike.
Thank you.
To have her on the show today. So why don't we just have you take us from the beginning, tell us a little bit of your journey and how you got to the place of establishing this amazing nonprofit.
It was basically, it was my story, but I didn't initially start off that way. I started off, I was only a homeless youth because my mother actually died by suicide when I was 4 years old. I was raised by my grandmother until I was 14. And then at 14, she died. I was right before my ninth year of graduation, she died. And that is the thing, that's the circumstance that left me displaced. My family took in my sister who has cerebral palsy, who's in the wheelchair. She took in her, but she didn't want to take in a rebellious, hating the world teenager. And so I was left to the streets at that point.
Dretona, oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
We
Go
are
ahead.
going to come back, continue your story. Absolutely. Leaning in. This is so juicy already. You guys, you're listening. We got issues on 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. We are talking to First Lady Dretona Maddox. Her story is pivoting. You absolutely want to join us right after the break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right, we are back. We are back. You're listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship, and we are talking about teenage pregnancy. So, if you know anybody that has a teenager, a teenage girl, you absolutely want to have them tune into the show on today. And I'm sure that you may have some questions or comments for our guests. You can call us at 313-778-7600. Again, that's 313-778-7600. So you guys, right before the break, Dretona was telling us a little bit about her background and how she ended up being homeless. So go ahead, Lady Dretona, tell us your story.
Somebody commented on my phone that I was frowning in the beginning. My husband came in. He's my biggest cheerleader with you guys on the phone. So all I heard was the background noise. And I'm like, turn it down. Anyway, so I was saying some of these things, I mentioned my background because it paints a picture of what the statistics say about pregnant and parenting teens. Like, how do you become pregnant and parenting? And that unstable environment is one of the ways. And so I'm being 14, I'm out there, I'm homeless, I'm couch surfing, ended up at a friend of a friend's house, their grandmother's house. She took me in, in a Black neighborhood. They don't ask no questions. As long as you pay, some rent. She made sure that I went to school, paid rent, $100 a month, and a utility bill that I could stay there, and she didn't ask any questions. And then a couple of weeks into this, now I'm stable. Now I couch surfed for about a year. So now I'm stable. I'm 15. I'm feeling good. I'm wanting to get back in school because I was a high school dropout after my grandmother died. And so I'm good. And then I found out I was pregnant. And right after I found out she actually discovered it. I was reaching for bread on the top of the refrigerator. And she's being a Southern grandma, grabbed me underneath my stomach and told me that I was pregnant. And I was devastated because I didn't know, what to do. I didn't even know that I was pregnant. And I said, so what's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen? And she said, you can do two things. You can leave here, or you can get rid of it. And those were my two options at 15 years old. And it was a thing that it was a hard decision to make, but I ended up terminating the life of my baby. So I had an abortion at around 4 months of pregnancy at 15 years old. And that became the fuel for my perceived success. So I had to prove that this decision that I made meant something, like it was worth it. Like, because I'm now not a teen parent, technically, I can make something of my life. So I graduated high school on time. I went right into nursing school. I got married at 18 years old. We recently celebrated 30 years of marriage. And so I was, thank you. I was
That's
proving
huge.
something. So that's why all those letters are behind my name. It was really about proving. I went on to get my bachelor's degree and get my master's degree. And it was after my master's degree, working in the hospital, that I realized that that wasn't the platform for me anymore, because I had encountered a teen mom that triggered me, in the sense that she made a decision to not terminate in an abortion form. She terminated the life of her kid because her baby was on life support. And it was a trigger. It was my moment, and I said I didn't want to do it anymore. So I got an opportunity, being a person that grew up in South Central LA. USC is in LA, the hood. But it was something that was unattainable for a girl like me. But I got an opportunity because I was a nurse to go to USC and get a master's in social work. And so I combined my nursing and social work, and got a new title called nurse social work practitioner. And it was in that journey and after that journey that I got opportunities to now open a placement, a home. I didn't start off with the pregnant and parenting home because I didn't tell my story. Nobody knew that I had aborted my child. That was something that I kept close to the heart. And it was a thing that I dealt with on my own and continued to struggle with that. And then
Dretona, hold on one
uh,
second. Hold on one second. There's some noise, some clicking noise in the background. Okay, and I'm not sure where that's coming from. Okay,
yeah,
go
I don't hear
ahead.
it. So it was after that point, I had written a program for a stabilization home for homeless youth. And I was very excited about it because being homeless is an acceptable topic. People are concerned about homeless youth. And so I thought it was good, and realized that after I wrote the program that it wasn't an opportunity to open that type of home in my community anymore. And they had to send me what they call a needs assessment. And when I got that needs assessment, the only home in the area that I was serving was a maternity home for pregnant and parenting teens. And that's when the world collided and said that it was time for me to tell my story. And I knew that no other teen mom would have to terminate the life of her kid for a roof over her head. I just wasn't going to let it happen. So that's purposely chosen.
Well, wow. I mean, that is such an incredible story, taking your pain and turning it into your purpose. One of the things we say a lot is God knows how to take what the devil means for evil and turning it into something that is good. And I loved when we had our conversation, one of the things that you said is when you had to make that choice. Talk a little bit about the fact that there was a place that you could have gone, but the lady that was keeping you didn't know about that place, which is one of the reasons why today your purposely chosen facility is to make sure that no pregnant teen has to make that choice if they don't want to.
Right. We had a large facility in Los Angeles. It's actually been around for 104 years. It's called St. Anne's, and it's a large facility for pregnant and parenting youth.
Wow.
Started off, I think, through Catholic Charities, and so it's been in existence. It's available to communities, to the community in Los Angeles. But I didn't know about it, and neither did this lady. So there was no advertisement, of course, for pregnant and parenting teens, like, oh, you can go to this place. She didn't know. She didn't know. And so it's part of my mission to make sure that my organization is known by everybody, that you have that option. Like there is a place that you can come if you desire to keep your kid. You can come and we will support you in every way possible. But yeah, she didn't know about it, and neither did I.
Wow. Wow. So I have a question. When we talk about teenage girls, one of the things that I was excited about in doing the research is the fact that the numbers are going down. So that's really exciting that the numbers are going down. But we also know that teenage pregnancy happens more in the Black and Brown community. So talk a little bit to our parents. What are some of when you think about the reasons for teenage pregnancy, can you talk about maybe the top 3 reasons why young girls end up getting pregnant at such an early age?
I don't know if I so much agree about the numbers actually going down. I mean, right now I have a home that houses 14 girls and their babies, and I have 10 girls right now. So, I don't know. I see it. I see this all the time. This is the only population that I serve. And so, and the only other ones in the area are still serving. So it's still there. It's not gone anywhere for the people that actually do the work. Now, for others, based on their research, I don't know. And whether or not they're reporting accurately, I don't know, but I see it every day. As far as the reasons, it is really that unstable environment. It is that place. I was out there by myself, and there was a lot of things I didn't know. Like it was just I didn't know, and so you're out there and you don't have a stable home. All of those things are true. Those social determinants of health, living in poverty-stricken environments, not having a father in the home, so you don't have that. Those things are all very true. That is a true thing, because you end up falling in the arms of somebody who you feel love you, right? And then, a part of you is willing to be that young mom, but that comes out of ignorance. That's just, you just don't know until you get into the situation. And I can tell you, I've never met a girl that was excited about it. Like once they found out that they were pregnant, it has always been
Wow.
trauma. And it felt
Right.
very traumatic for that
Right.
young person.
Right. Right.
Wow.
I have a question.
Gloria,
I'm
we
so
muted.
in. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm so enthralled with this conversation. So thank you for your transparency, because that's one of the biggest problems we have in so many arenas is people's unwillingness to tell the story. And Carol says in the chat, she says parents are reluctant to talk about sexuality. And we know that's a big part of it. But given what you've done, what do you see as some of the largest challenges? The largest challenges? Is it when the girl steps into the home? Is it finding people to give them mentorship? What do you see as maybe the top 2 or 3 challenges? And until we go to break, can you tell us what you think about that?
Yeah, I think the one of the top challenges is that sense of belonging. My program is based off a theory, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where it shows that you can give a kid stability, you can give them food, shelter, that's at the bottom of that pyramid. And then you can give them safety, where you can put alarms around your house, you can make sure that they're good, like nobody hurts them. And then that next phase is love and belonging. And that is my biggest challenge, because
Okay.
when a parent is upset about their kid being pregnant, they withdraw support. They don't give it. So the punishment is, and I'm showing you that I disapprove. And the way that I show you that I disapprove is not support you. That's wrong, because they're still pregnant and they're still parenting. And so they
Right.
need that support. That's the time that you actually have to shower on support, so that they can make the right decisions for themselves and for their babies. That's, prenatal care. They need that. A lot of kids don't get it. That's why the birth rate, low birth rates is what you find. Kids that are born premature, kids that are still killing babies, right? Delivering babies in their showers and or dumping them in the trash can. That's a real thing. That's a real thing because they don't know what to do. But the reason why is because either a parent is kicking them out, you laid down, you shouldn't have done this, you got to get out of my house. Well, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? And what are they going to do? Because if you think that they're going to go live with the baby daddy and their family, the likelihood of that is not going to happen. And so you have all of those issues that come into play. And so they struggle.
Wow. Wow. This is so interesting. You guys are listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship. Mark, we're going to come right to you. We have a caller. We'll come right to you right after the break. You're listening to 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're back. And we are talking about teenage pregnancy with the Force of Friendship on We Got Issues. Our special guest on today is Lady Dretona Maddox, and she is the owner, the CEO of Purposely Chosen. And when I tell you, this is such an incredible conversation. So we absolutely want you to call us with your comments or your questions at 313-778-7600. We do have a caller. We're going to go to Mark. Mark, are you there?
I'm still here. All right. Thank you, Mark, for holding on. Thank you for holding on. What's your comment or your question?
Well, my comment is, like I heard the young lady say that, sometimes the baby daddy, and, when you call them a baby daddy, it's sort of pejorative. And I think what we've gotten to is when these young girls, and most of the time these young girls come from single-headed households, there's just a mother there. There's no father influence to talk to the girls about their bodies. Same with the little boys. These girls mostly have children with me in their own age. Sometimes they have an older adult, but most of the time, like 16, 17 years, they still kids themselves. And I think we just don't have enough organization or psychological help for the young men in these situations. I get it, the young girl got to carry that baby, and he deal with a lot of things from them young girls. Sometimes they don't tell the boy they're pregnant till it's too late. They can't talk about various alternatives. Sometimes the girls even tell them they had the child at all. it's a lot of things we got to start dealing with the fact that we can't just average out these young boys and then just say men don't take care of their responsibilities. It's a lot that we need to deal with. This issue should be spoken from both perspectives, the young girls and the young men. If we're going to be talking about family, we're going to have to start talking about family exactly the way it is, from the young male's perspective and the young girl. Because I get it, it's tough on the girl because she got to carry that baby. But when it comes time to be talking about, oh, we got to deal with how we gonna support this child and child support, then everybody want to talk about it take two. But then when it's time to just have the child and time to deal with the child coming through the phases of pregnancy, it's almost like the young man ain't even a part of it. So we got to deal with that.
You know what, Mark? That is such a great perspective, and you're absolutely right, because we are talking about teenage pregnancy, and when we say that, it automatically puts, of course, the majority of the burden on the young lady because she is the one that's carrying it. But that is absolutely another part of the conversation is, you know, and I'll have Dretona talk to that in just a second, the young men that are the fathers. And you brought up great issues. You know, sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know. I know, you know, we at our church,
you know, young ladies that have had babies, and you know, one of the things that's for sure, when they bring the baby to church to bless the baby, is always the mother and the young lady and the baby, but the boy and his family is nowhere to be found. So that absolutely is an issue. So Dretona, you want to speak to Mark? Mark, again, thank you for calling. We got issues. We appreciate it. Dretona.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark, for your comment, but that's not what I see. So with the teen dads, every program that serves pregnant and parenting teens also serve the teen dads. It is an integral part of the program because the parenting education doesn't just happen for the teen mom. We have bonding classes for the guys. We do parenting classes for the guys and visitation when they want to see their babies and all of that stuff. So it's never that. And even we encourage for the for them to continue in a family type of relationship and really trying to keep that family structure together. So I know that everybody say that, but those are the people who don't serve the population, and it's often people who are speaking about the population who are not the actual service providers. So if you're the people that serve, then yes, that's a part. Who we don't support is the human trafficker who impregnated the 13-year-old girl. Who we don't support is the pedophile in the family who violated the girl, because teen pregnancy is not just about I was with a 16-year-old boy. For 9 times out of 10, it's because they were violated or they were in a human trafficking situation, and that's what we don't support. You can't be 14 and with a 25-year-old or 26-year-old and call him the baby daddy. I call that a pedophile.
Wow, that's powerful. So real quick before we go, Ray, hold on. I have one question that we're going to you real quickly. So based on what you have seen in the facilities that you have, what are the percentages of, it was just, teenage love and she ended up getting pregnant, but what percentage would you say are, someone molested them, whether it was a father or a relative, and then the trafficking part?
10% is teen love. 10.
What'd you say?
So 90% is other. That has just blown me away. That has just blown me away. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Ray, are you there?
Ma'am.
Thank
you for calling. We got issues. What's your question or comment?
I'm just curious. I mean, one woman, what is the amount of abortions that one woman could have that would be absurd? And I understand what you're saying, but I mean, is 3 the limit? What is the limit here? Is there any limit?
I'm not really sure. You're saying, is there a limit to the number of abortions that a woman can have? Is that what your question is?
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here.
Yeah. Let's say 3 is like absurd, right? Then why is not 1 abortion absurd? That's what I'm asking. What is the difference? What is the difference?
Okay, I'll let Dretona answer that question, but we're talking about teen pregnancy.
I'll hang up and listen to that answer.
Okay, thank you. Dretona, you
that-
want to tackle?
Yeah. So it's not the number of abortions that you may have. We're talking about teen pregnancy. So the ones that who choose to, and then there's some that choose to abort their kid, but there's not a number. It's whatever a woman chooses in that predicament. But the whole goal is to make sure that she's not put in that position. Right. Because when you think of when I said social determinants of health and all of these things that contribute, right? If we could fix those problems, which is the larger problem, then we won't have so many high rates of teen pregnancy. And then you don't have to worry about this thing where we're talking about abortion, because people will actually plan and do all these type of things when you're talking about young people. So I don't know how to really answer that question of 1 in 3. I think that's kind of a mute point and kind of irrelevant to the topic, because whatever a woman chooses and however, that's between her and her God.
Exactly. Thank you. I know, Caterina, you had a question.
Yes, and I know we're talking about teenage pregnancy today, which does have an intersection with abortion. But Dretona, when you bring up 90%, 90% is not is not from a love situation. It is from an additional traumatic situation, as if it wasn't traumatic enough for her to be pregnant and all the changes that take place in her body and the responsibilities, but now to have that trauma that you carry forever and ever and ever. So, I will say, when you think about that perspective and what the last caller said, it just really it's like, what percentage of pregnancies for a teen are acceptable by someone who she was not consensual? And the answer for that is unequivocally none, right? My question, we had this conversation, was about the church. If you could just talk about the stigma that takes place in the Black church and how, as a First Lady, you are working to change that stigma, because support is needed. And there are many churches that have support systems, but there are many churches, especially the old traditional Black church, where it wasn't supported and you got just as much shunned at the church as you did anywhere else. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, the thing that blessed me is that my husband is a product of a teen mom. His mom was 15 years old when she had him, and so he has this level of sensitivity when it comes down to the issue. Now, did he want to be controversial with it and his wife open a whole program that that serves his part? Probably not, probably not. And I'm such an advocate, like she speaks everywhere about it. She talks about it all the time. Yes, I live and breathe this topic. And so, but the church has had the hardest time, because it's the same thing with support. It's like, if I throw you the baby shower, although you need a car seat, stroller, and baby
Right.
clothes, then
Right.
it makes people think that I'm supporting the act of sin, right? This
Right.
act of fornication, like I approved your fornication. And that's not what it's about, because a baby is not the sin. The sin is not the baby, right? So in the
Right.
church sense, the sin is the act of fornication, not the baby. So withdrawing support, the same way in Black families, we're taking away that support, puts the kid in a predicament. If the house of God is the place of refuge, and that is the place where everybody who is broken should be able to come, then why can't we restore and welcome and reconcile a teen mom who is struggling and really just need that additional support? Because that baby is going to grow up, right? My husband
Right.
is an amazing minister and done amazingly well, but he was considered a mistake. But that's not his name. He was the
Right.
mistake. This amazing man who's doing amazing things in this world was considered the mistake. So we have to be careful on how we label them, because that trauma of calling that kid a mistake trickles down. It spent him a long time to get confident in who he is because of the way his mom was treated. So we have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
So,
Dretona, oh my goodness. You think about all the stories. We all have the stories. We're close to the stories. Help, education, just kind care, so that these young women are not thrown away. and to give them hope. So thank you for the work that you're doing. It's so needed. Talk about the admission process to your center, because I can only imagine people who knock on your doors, people who want to get into centers like this. And so what is the intake process?
So for me, I only take girls that are pregnant and parenting who is in the foster care system. So they have already come from a
Wow.
background where they are abused and are neglected, and that's why they're in the system. And then somewhere along the line, they became pregnant. So,
Dretona,
okay.
hold that
Mhm.
thought. We're going to have to take a break. And when we come back, you can finish telling us what it takes to get into your program. You are listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship, 9:10 a.m. to Superstation. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, we are back. We are back. And we are talking teenage pregnancy, everything about teenage pregnancy. Our guest on today is First Lady Dretona Maddox out of Riverdale,
Riverside. Mhm.
Riverside, California. She is a registered nurse. She also is the CEO of Purposely Chosen, and this is a facility that houses teenage pregnant girls. And so right at the break, she was talking about what do they need to do if they're pregnant? How can they get admitted into your facility?
So, as I was saying, we are a nonprofit organization, but we serve pregnant and parenting teens who are in the foster care system. So these kids are already, have high levels of trauma, and so they're coming in into my placement, and so that's the only way they come to me. If they're not in placement, if they don't have like foster care, then there's other organizations that provide like external support, right? Where you can get like car seat strollers and that type of stuff. And so they can also come to us for that type of stuff, for additional resources and putting them into like parenting classes. And sometimes I'm also a licensed clinical social worker. And so being able to provide like family therapy to families to help them heal, because it's best for a child and their child to be in an environment where they are loved and supported. But sometimes healing has to take place because, you know, the parents are just upset. And that's a natural response, right? That's a natural response to be upset. But it doesn't mean that the consequence is going to be withdrawal of support. And that's what I advocate to prevent.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so powerful. Sabrina?
Yeah. Dretona, so that's
You're muted, Sabrina.
Okay. Hold on. And so for the people like not in your state, like resources, how do they start to find a facility near them? Just because honestly, this is education 101. Many people just don't know where to start. They're so upset and they just don't know where to start. And so where would you start if people were in need of a facility like yours? All over
Now
the
you're
country.
gonna make me cry. Now you're gonna make me cry, right? Because it's not enough resources. It's not enough resources. Right now, I am trying to build a network, and I know that there's a company that I'm gonna just do a shout out to. It's called Rosemary's Babies Company in Ohio. This Rosemary she was a teen mom, and she's doing an amazing work out in Ohio, trying her best. She is a solo provider out there fighting for these pregnant and parenting teens. She's right now trying to fight to get a home to be able to house them, because there's no housing facilities out in Ohio, the whole entire state. And there's so many
Wow.
pregnant teens that are out there that are homeless. And that is her population that she serves, that's not in foster care, but definitely just they're homeless and they need help. So they come to her for the resources. And so I'm trying to put together a network of people and even helping others. I helped a young lady in Louisiana, in New Orleans, start her program so that she was able, I gave her a full program statement and said, here you go, this is how you start.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I tell people to call me to help, help them get their program started, because we need it. We're losing kids, and the babies of these teen moms are the ones that suffer the most.
Wow.
So,
go ahead.
I just wanted you to say, I wanted to give a shout out because you're in the process of becoming Dr. Dretona Maddox. So can you just talk about that in another few weeks? Talk about it and just how that is going to help to support and take your services you're able to offer to the next level.
Yeah, this is the last and final degree. I promise. I can't do any more outside of this. I'm so sick of school. I don't know what to tell y'all. But yes, I'll be graduating with my doctorate in social work practice in August. And so I'm so excited.
Give it up, Michael. Give her a hand. Give her a hand.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that I had to get all these letters behind my name to get my voice heard. It's so sad, but unfortunately it takes that. So somebody had to do it in order to open the door to the conversation. And this degree affords me that opportunity because that's my topic. That's my topic of interest. I wasn't moving off of it. It's my life's work. And so, so that's given me that opportunity. And a part of instead of doing a full dissertation, I'm getting an opportunity to do a social innovation. And so I'm doing a film, first time filmmaker, Lord, God bless me. Yes, I'm praying for myself on that. Had to do a whole lot of YouTube videos to learn how to do that. But it's talking about the health inequities experienced by African-American teen moms who get to the doctor's office and they meet that stigmatization right there at the front desk. And so they're not getting their questions answered. And so they don't do prenatal care and they walk away without the help that they need for their bodies and then for their babies. And so healthcare is my area of expertise. And so I'm about to shake it up a little bit because it's a conversation we have to have in the healthcare industry.
Wow, that is so powerful. And you know what? Again, I'm so excited about you finishing your doctorate with everything that you've gone through. It's just amazing to see how God is using you to be a blessing to these teenage girls. What would you say is the biggest inequities that you have found between how the Black and Brown community is served as opposed to other communities?
Oh, it is it is so horrible. It's just the treatment in general, and so it's health inequities that you find, but you also find it in the school systems, and you find it even in social services. If a kid that is in foster care and they're doing normal teenage behavior, the consequence for that normal teenage behavior will result in a child being removed, their baby being removed and placed in CPS and have CPS involvement, whereas the white counterpart may do the same stuff and they're adding additional services like wraparound services, and maybe they need additional classes and maybe need this. But Black and Brown, nah, they don't get that type of treatment. And so when they remove their kids, the odds are stacked against them, and it's almost impossible for them to get their babies back. And within 18 months, those babies are adopted out. So our Black and Brown babies get adopted out much faster than any other race. And it's so sad because we are the highest numbers, because we have the highest numbers of poverty. It's a systemic problem. This is not happen chance. It is designed that way. And then we just fall
Right.
prey. And because we fall to prey in that system, then we're stuck, and not enough of us Black and Brown supporters step in and do the work to help them.
Wow. Dretona, please share with our radio listening audience as well as our Facebook audience, those that, something triggered, they like, oh, I need to get in touch with her. I would love to look into starting a program like that. Can you please tell them how they can reach you and potentially do something similar to what you're doing?
I am on all platforms at Dretona Maddox. So you can find me there. You can DM me. You can call me. You DM me, then we can get in touch that way, and then we'll talk. I have a website for Purposely Chosen, and it's www.purposelychosen.org. So you can find me there. My contact information is all over the internet. So I'm not hidden in that way at all. So they can find me. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you know what? We're about to come to an end. What are the last thing you want to say to our radio audience and Facebook Live audience?
The last thing I would say is, if you encounter, which I know that you will, a teen mom somewhere, whether she's in the grocery store, a doctor's office, walking down the street, a school system, if you encounter her, encourage her. Encourage her, because she's doing the very best that she can, and she doesn't always know the answers. I encourage my teen moms to be courageous. It's the one thing I tell them all the time. Have the courage to ask the questions. You don't have to know the answers, but just have the courage to ask the questions. So if you do that and you find a friendly face that is not going to look at you sideways, embrace that.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This hour went by too fast today. You have been an exceptional guest, and thank you for being on We Got Issues. My goodness, you absolutely want to check out soon to be Dr. Dretona Maddox. You guys, you've been listening to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation with the Force of Friendship. We will see you on tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.